This is me, and this is my little mountain. This is me struggling to carry building supplies up the mountain to build a cabin. This is my dad also struggling with me, helping me bring supplies up the mountain. This is my buddy Eli also struggling with me, helping me bring supplies up the mountain. After about 6 trips of this back-breaking, knee-busting work, I finally realized I needed a better solution to get the materials up the fairly steep slope. So I decided to build a purpose-built trailer that my tractor could pull. It had to be high off the ground to clear stumps and rocks, had to be able to hold a decent amount of weight, and had to be a doable build for someone who had never welded a trailer together. So this is how I built it. Tractors have a 3-point hitch, and this is what we will connect the trailer to. Like all projects, I had to start by cleaning up my shop. So in order to make something like this, you've got to find a metal supply shop. Your average hardware store or big box hardware store will simply not have the right metal. I used 2x2 square tube steel that came in 21-foot lengths. I also ended up using angle iron, which also came in 20+ foot lengths. The first thing I had to do was simply cut everything to size with my rough idea and rough layout. I find starting with a very simple, basic foundation of a project is the best way for me to go forward. I'm not a professional welder, but I know just enough to make some, I would say, strong enough welds. What I love about welding is you don't need a super duty welder. I had a little MIG-Pack Lincoln Electric that could plug into just any outlet. Unlike wood, metal, once welded, is very stiff and straight, so I was very cautious to make sure that everything was square as I was building it. What determined the style and size was I wanted a trailer that was as wide or not much wider than my tractor, so I knew I could get up the mountain without much trouble. I've had many questions why I couldn't just drive up my Jeep with a trailer all the way to the top, and well, the trail is simply not wide enough, and there's just no way I would spend the amount of time to make it wide enough to get the Jeep all the way up. What do you think? That ain't bad, right? Alright, let's get after it and drill these holes. Right? Yeah. Originally, I thought I was going to mount my Timbren axles, which is basically your axles and suspension, to 2" by 2" angle iron. I would later change the design and end up mounting it to some more 2x2 square tube steel that I would weld on the underside of the main structure. If I was to do it all over again, I would simply use 2x2 steel tube for the entire build. I found the angle iron certainly moves and bends more than the 2x2 square tube steel. If you guys are going to consider doing something like this, don't wear shorts. It hurts when you get a spark on the skin. It hurts a decent amount. Oh, these things are heavy. Oh my gosh.
Make sense?
Here you can see I've already determined that that angle iron wasn't going to cut it for my timber and axle install, so I welded up some more 2x2 square tube steel underneath the angle iron. I did a rough layout to make sure everything fit, and then I cut some more steel that would sister the two axles together. After doing a final test fit with the timber and axles, I thought it was a good time to pack my bearings with grease and just get the axles ready for mounting. That way I could do a full test fit with everything just to make sure everything was going to work by the time it was all said and done. This is the part of the build where I created some guardrails so whatever I was carrying wouldn't slide off very easily. I could also put plywood on this because it was 36 inches wide and the plywood, when sitting on it, wouldn't get stuck up on the tires. I continued to stiffen up any welds or any places that I just tacked but didn't put a bead down.
Some of you are probably like, man, that guy is going to start a fire in that dirty shop welding, and you're probably right. So, I figured I'd use this welding blanket that I've owned for over a year. And cover something. Yeah. Perfect.
I then welded 2 pieces of angle iron to the center tube that ran the length of the trailer, connecting the 2 pieces of angle iron on the outsides of the trailer, giving it a ton of strength. I made sure there was no sharp edges and grinded down any welds that were too high or ugly. I gave some more strength to the middle of the trailer in the sections where the angle iron could possibly bend down if there was too much weight on top. I then rubbed it down with some Total Boat primer thinner just to clean off the metal and residue, and then I did 3 coats of Total Boat's epoxy primer to prep it for bed lining. I normally shoot the bed liner on with a shoots gun, but this time I rolled it on with a small roller and it went on really well. This gives the metal on the surface a nice rugged, rubberized texture that should stop it from getting dinged up too easily. I mounted the centerpiece that sistered the 2 axles together. Next up, I put the wheels on and it was good to go. I made sure to do some testing around my yard to make sure that it would work before bringing it all the way to my mountain property. And there we had a perfect little hauling trailer that could go anywhere my tractor could. And once I got to the property, we were off to the races, getting materials up the mountain much faster than we could before. My little mountain trailer ended up becoming the most important thing I could have done to continue my cabin building process. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.